Hey guys, it is Occultation here today, where I'm going to be doing a different video today. I haven't done this type of video in like a long time. I don't think I've done this ever since middle school or something like that. It's probably going to be unedited if most. I'm just going to edit out some ums and spaces out, times where I'm spacing out and stuff like that. I just kind of want to get this out. It's been bothering me for many years. I wouldn't really say bother, it just kind of, I think about it a lot, and it gets to the point where it's like really unhealthy, and it kind of stops me from worrying about the future. Kind of want to talk about high school. I know this is some cliche topic that most people that graduate out of high school will talk about eventually. It is my time right now. I just kind of want to say, after graduating 4 years ago, there are definitely things that I wish I would have done differently, and I wish that things were different. Unfortunately, those things didn't go as planned. So I'm just gonna talk about, since I've had my YouTube channel for the longest time now. I've had it since 2013. You basically seen me grow from freaking elementary school and way past college now. Might as well just talk about school and shit, you know. During elementary school, I was very talkative. I was very blunt to everything what I was saying. I definitely had like an attitude. I wouldn't say I had like that like full-on New Jersey attitude. Like, yeah, sure, I was born in New Jersey, but I wasn't really raised there fully to have the real Jersey attitude, you know what I mean? Well, I definitely had an attitude. Not many people really liked me, and I was definitely more unhinged. A lot of people were scared of me. Some people even bullied me, and I didn't really care. So yeah, that was basically me throughout elementary school. I got in trouble a couple of times in elementary school, not because like of beating people up. I wasn't really the type of person to beat up people up most. I would just really say some stuff, and it would really hurt them, and I'd end up being sent to the principal's office. It was just my general behavior that people didn't really like. Especially, like I said, I was unhinged, so whatever I thought in my head, I would say out loud usually. And you know how bad that is, you know, you shouldn't really do that. Keep your thoughts to yourself most of the time, or all the time, please. But yeah, I got in trouble for so many things like that. And so in middle school, I ended up being a little bit more reserved. But at the same time, if some people knew me from elementary school, I would still talk to them, and I wouldn't treat them differently. That also came with the cost of not making that much new friends in middle school. So I think in 6th grade, I only made it out of 6th grade. Oh wow, thinking about it, I don't really think I made that much friends in 6th grade. I don't really think I made 1 or 2, but like that one guy kind of moved to California, and then the other guy just went to a different school entirely, so I was pretty much all alone again. And in 7th grade, I made a couple of friends in 7th grade. I still talk to some of them, and I'm still in a friend group with like 3 of them. Most of them after high school, they went different state college, you know, of course. And then in 8th grade, I didn't really make much new friends at all. Actually, I don't even think I made any new friends during 8th grade. In fact, I made a lot more new enemies because of my attitude. Yeah, people just really wanted to talk down on me and stuff like that, but they knew they couldn't because I just didn't care at all. I was the one verbally abusing people. I actually got in trouble. No shit. So I didn't tell you this, but in 6th grade, I punched some guy in the face because he was being racist to me. He was like literally this guy. He didn't have any Asian friends whatsoever, and whenever he'd see me, he'd come in like, "Oh, Asian ching chong, bro, like you love eating your rice, don't you?" And I'm like, "Hey, you know what? How about you shut your mouth?" So I punched that guy. I got detention, but obviously the guy didn't get detention, so I was pretty pissed. So I guess he talked about me to a lot of his friends. So during high school, I really didn't have anyone to have any drama with. I didn't even have that much drama with much people in high school. So we're gonna just skip forward to high school. This is the part where I kind of like, I really wish things were different, even after 4 years of graduating high school. So in 9th grade, I was like actually completely reserved. I didn't really talk at all. In fact, most of the time, if I was with my friends that I knew since like middle school, elementary school or middle school, like 7th grade, I would only talk to those people. I didn't really talk to anyone else. And then in 10th grade, no, 9th grade, I don't know, but I was definitely really shy in 9th grade. This is the time where I started having feelings for some girls. The problem is with that and being shy and introverted was that I did not have any confidence in approaching whatsoever. Not even just girls, even just trying to make new friends I had trouble with, because there was a time where there were so many betrayals I had with friends. I had to burn a lot of bridges with a few quote-unquote friends I had in the past because of the way they treated me and what they have done to me. I had a lot of trust issues, so I think that's why I have mostly avoided making new friends, because I just didn't want to have to deal with all the struggles and betrayals again. So that's probably why I was so introverted, and that's why I only trusted my only friends from middle school and elementary school. So anyways, going off on a little tangent there about why I was introverted, I guess. Being introverted and shy and whatever it is, just not talking, it is not a good recipe for liking a girl. In my perspective, thinking about it just really pisses me off. I'm so annoyed. You can't turn back time. Me now, I would have definitely done a lot more. I would have definitely made the first move. I would have talked for sure. You know what the young kids say, have W Riz. I just didn't have that back then. So in 9th grade, I liked 2 girls. One of them is Korean, one of them is Japanese. So I remember in the beginning of 9th grade, I saw this Korean girl, like she had her violin. You can definitely tell she's also really shy. And I also kind of knew this because this is gonna sound so weird for people who don't know. Usually in high school, there would be this whole Asian sensation thing where it would be a group of Asians in some corner of the school. In this case, it was in the corner of our library. Pretty much almost every Asian student would go there and chill in the beginning of the day before school starts. So I was a part of that. Yeah, I didn't really talk to anyone else, but I did know that this Korean girl was like really shy, because like even inside that group thing, she barely even said words. She'd just be sitting in the corner, really doing nothing, and I'd be looking at her like, damn, she's kind of cute. Hopefully she could be my girlfriend, because that's what I was thinking back then. It wasn't that simple looking back. So as the time went by, it was just too late now. But it wasn't over. Remember that Japanese girl I told you guys about? So she was in my PE class, and we were actually having some pretty good vibes together. And we were playing some games together. We were like having some tag team duos things going on, especially in volleyball. We'd be actually pretty good at working together in playing volleyball, and we were the most competitive people there. So after class one day, after school actually, I saw her at the bike rack because I also bike to school. I was thinking of actually doing something different. This is something I would normally wouldn't do. Remember I said I was shy and introverted, but this is the time when I actually asked the girl out, and I was unraveling my bike and I unchained it and I rolled my bike over to her. I was like, hey, do you want to hang out sometime a little bit later during the day? And she was like, I don't know, maybe some other time. And I was like, damn, do you maybe put like Instagram or something? And she was like, yeah, I have Instagram. And so we exchanged Instagrams, but the problem is, we're just gonna fast forward. She never asked anything. There was never anything, never any follow-up, no hangouts, no dates, no nothing. So it was just dead, and I was pretty sad. And then after that, summer came, and long 3 months of summer. So we go and fast forward all the way to 10th grade, where this started to get a little interesting. Because I'll tell you what, I think I was going through some weird identity issues. You know, that whole Zombie Resort HQ to Jintamiko phase, like that whole Jintamiko phase? I'm pretty sure that was like a whole different identity thing. I was claiming myself I was Japanese and stuff, No, I'm not Japanese, bro. I'm Filipino. I actually convinced people that I was Japanese somehow. Maybe it was because of the way I looked back then, but like that was crazy. And especially the times where I'd be streaming, I was like, I am Shroud. So I intentionally made my voice deep, even though at that time I was like, 15? My voice couldn't go that deep. So I don't know if you want to do like investigation, but you can go to my YouTube channel and find videos from, let's say 2017, find videos from late 2018, early 2019. And you will see how deep my voice got. And then after like maybe spring 2019, you can see my voice getting higher again because I'm going back to normal. Anyway, we're rambling again. It's been 10 minutes, so we're gonna try to get to the point really, really fast. Anyways, so in 10th grade, there was times where girls were approaching me. Let's say, okay, I had a Spanish class and there was this girl, she was European and her name was Alex. Her real name is Alexandria, I think. I remember we were doing some introductions. We were standing in a circle in the class, first day of school, obviously. And she did not stop looking at me. She had her eyes locked on me, like locked. She was locked in. And obviously me being an absolute virgin back then, I didn't have any idea what her intentions. I thought she was just looking at me like, you know, just quick glances, like nothing big deal. But a month passed and she ends up approaching me. She was like, hey, do you want to eat lunch together with me? And I was like, whoa, really? She was like, yeah. You don't have anyone else to sit with, right? And I was like, I guess not. But I did have my middle school friend that I always sat with. So it kind of got awkward, but I sat with him anyway. She also followed me. I don't think she cared that my friend was there. So then we were now eating lunch with me, my friend, and Alex, the girl who asked me out to eat with her for lunch. And so another one of my friend's friend came to the table and he kind of hesitated to sit down. I think it's because he saw Alex, but he sat down. He gave me a very faint eyebrow raise. So now, again, we were eating as usual. We were a little bit of chit chat, but when I would be eating, and I wouldn't really be talking. One time, Alex, she told me, I'm going to go to the restroom for a little bit. I'm going to be right back. You're going to stay here, okay? And I was like, okay, I'll wait for you. So when she left the cafeteria, my friend's friend, he was like, is that your girlfriend? And I was like, no, I don't know. And he's like, well, she looks pretty into you. I'm happy for you, man. Then I replied like, oh, no, I don't think we're that serious yet. If anything, we're just friends. And my friend's friend, he was like, nah, dude, she's got to be your girlfriend, man. And I was like, we'll see about that. So after class, we didn't really do much. We kind of just went back to class and obviously continued along with the lecture. But after class, she came up to me. She was like, hey, can I have your Instagram? Do you have one? And I was like, yeah, sure, I got it. What's your Instagram? So we exchanged Instagrams. So then she'd be talking to me almost every day and every night. To me, at that time, you know how much gaming I loved doing. And this is the part where I start to have my regrets, because let's say if I wasn't putting my priorities into gaming and I put my priorities into having a better social life, if I actually tried becoming good friends with this Alex girl and maybe even becoming my girlfriend, maybe I could have exited high school with a hand in my hand and it would have been her or anyone that I've rejected. But let's get on with this Alex girl first. So over the texts, I would be very dry texty with her. In present time, I will say this right now. I don't like dry texters. I used to be one, but now I'm not. And I understand why it's so annoying to have a dry texter on the other end. Like I could tell looking back, I don't have the text anymore, but I can remember looking back, she put a lot of enthusiasm into her texts. I could tell she really wanted me to be her boyfriend. And I was just pushing her away slowly with my dry texting as her texts became more enthusiastic and our interactions in class would become less and less until she figured out that I wasn't interested. That was it for her. She just completely stopped texting me. She didn't stop talking to me because we were in the same class, of course. I guess she didn't see the same way as she did when she first saw me and she was interested in me. So I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a context tangent. But so during high school, I had a very strict type of girl. I only liked Asian girls. Only Asian girls. I didn't like anyone else. I wasn't accepting anyone else. I was strictly Asian girls only. It's Asian or nothing. In the present day, I'm not really that strict on the type of girl. It's not just Asians that I like anymore. I like a lot more girls nowadays, so I'm widely accepting. So like when the right girl comes, the right girl will come. So moving back onto the Alex girl. So that type of mindset of only liking Asian girls really costed me that relationship with Alex, and I'm pretty sure I hurt her feelings a lot. I do regret it. I really do regret it. I wouldn't really say that I will dwell on it for the rest of my life. I would just say that it was a mistake that I could have definitely improved on myself. And like I said earlier, I could have had her hand in my hand by the end of that school year. But I didn't because of the way I was. And now I pay for it. So a little bit closer to the end of the school year, this is going to be a shocker. Another girl in the same Spanish class liked me. She was Indian and her name was, I think, Tria. I don't know, but we're just going to say Tria. She liked me. I could just tell. I already knew, especially after dealing with Alex. I just knew that she liked me as well. Especially when we were sitting in the same table. She could not speak. She couldn't even look me in the eyes. And every time she would have to speak with me in group projects, I could just see her cheeks just red, all red. And then she would try to be sitting me next to lunch, but I told her this time, I just said straight up, like, hey, like, is it okay if I sit with my homies? And she was like, oh, okay, I'll just see you after lunch then. So I saw her at class after lunch. So we're gonna fast forward to after class, and I was trying to get out of the classroom as quick as possible because I just kind of didn't really want to talk to anyone. I didn't even want to talk to my friend. I just didn't want to talk. I wasn't really that many steps away from the Spanish classroom, so she managed to catch up to me real quick, and she brought her friend along with her. I was like, okay, so it's gonna be chill, I guess. And then so we were like 3 people walking. I was in the left, Tria was in the middle, and her friend was on the right. So we were just walking real slow, and all of a sudden she asks me, hey, do you have a girlfriend by any chance? Have you ever had a girlfriend? And I was like, no, I wouldn't say I have, and I don't have a girlfriend right now. And she was like, there's something I want to kind of tell you. And I was like, oh, what's that? And she was like, I like you. And I was, what? Really? How so? And then Tria just runs off into the distance. I don't even know where the frick she went, but she just ran. And so I was just left with me and her friend. I was looking at her friend. She was like, she has been talking about you for the past couple of days. And I guess she wanted to say it. I'm sorry, I don't know. And I was like, oh, it's okay. The thing is, the next class after, I think she knew that I wasn't interested in her. I didn't really have the same feelings for her. I think she knew that because she didn't say much after, and she didn't act the same way when I guess she did like me. And so the school year goes past again, and nothing really happened in 10th grade after those moments. It was just pretty bland, not really much drama, except for that one stalker incident, which you can hear in one of my songs called Sasang Sasang. Go ahead and check it out. And I'll probably make a separate video on that incident, but that doesn't really correlate to much here. Actually, it kind of does correlate because one of the girls that I had a crush on at that time was involved in that stalking incident. But the only reason why she was involved because her other friend did have a crush on me. But I wasn't aware of this. I saw the whole thing as a very freaky incident, and I wasn't anywhere attracted to her as she was attracted to me. I was like, actually, I was trying to get away from her. She was kind of a psycho. But let's not get into that right now. We're going to talk about that in a different video when we're going to break down Sasang together. So we're done with that. We're done with 10th grade, and we're going to move on to 11th grade very quickly, hopefully. So it's 11th grade. It's 2019, late 2019, whatever, and early 2020. That's right, 2020. Oh my freaking goodness. So actually, the summer between 10th and 11th grade were very groundbreaking for me. The reason why I say that is because I don't think I've had this much social interaction with so many people. I actually kind of skipped through some 10th grade lore. By May 2019, that's when 10th grade ended for me. I was hanging out with a lot more people. However, these were people that I've known since elementary school, and you know how I tend to hang out with people that I've known since elementary school. Yeah, that's the only reason why I was hanging out. And we were going out a lot. We were going to carnivals, we were going hiking, we were doing everything, really outdoor activities, and I was getting a little bit more confident in speaking to other people, and especially girls too. Like these 2 girls, I've known one of them since elementary school and one of them from middle school. I'm not going to disclose names because I still talk to them today. So yeah, we go into 11th grade with a very interesting mentality. I don't know what I was expecting. I honestly didn't expect much from 11th grade. My goal was just to act loose, just act myself, just enjoy the rest of high school, because I knew it was going to come to an end very quickly because we were already in 11th grade. And when I mean loose, I mean like, dude, I was playing Guitar Hero in the middle of the cafeteria, everyone watching, crowd forming. I was playing Through the Fire and Flames. I was playing with my freaking Razer keyboard, the one Razer keyboard I've had. Yeah, I would just play and everyone would be watching, and I'd be like, oh man, I'm actually kind of popular for once. And I feel like it's after this event where I just kind of felt a little bit more confident in myself socially, especially when girls would come and approach me. I'd actually be welcoming and I'd be like, hey, what's up, how you doing? Maybe not like exactly that, but you get the idea. This is where my Instagram followers went up, and especially it was more girls following me now than guys or random people. Some of them actually did text me on my IG DMs. They'd be asking me if I wanted to go hang out with them sometime. But this is the time when I actually also regret is rejecting pretty much all who asked me to go hang out with them, which is crazy. And they were actually pretty attractive girls too. I somehow rejected them. I don't know if it was because it was Asian or nothing type mindset, but I felt, I don't know, I just felt like I didn't want to spend time outside. I just kind of wanted to game and I wanted to stream, which is also crazy because I'm still doing those things now, but it's not my life. It's not my number one priority because, you know, I got school, I got college now. I'm in college. I gotta work too. And like I said, I am still doing those things. I could have put gaming and streaming to the side, and instead I could have just spent time with those girls who asked me to hang out with them. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. I also had many chances. I would be getting invited to parties from my other friends. These were friends I made during 11th grade, so I barely knew them, but they were inviting me to their parties anyway. So I went to those parties, and those parties had a lot of girls, of course, that came to our school, and as well as other schools around. But there were also some guys there that I really didn't like, but they didn't seem to recognize me because I changed my look drastically from 10th to 11th grade. I changed my look drastically. So I basically look like a different person now during that time, I meant. And most of the people in these parties would be like doing some drugs. They would be doing smoking. They would be doing stuff that I didn't do. You know, I was the introverted kid. I was gaming. I was on my own. I was a family guy. I was innocent. Not even just for those reasons. Personally, I just didn't feel like I needed to do those things. I didn't want to do them. And it's definitely done a good thing in my life. Stay sober or get pulled over. But yeah, like I said before, I had many chances to get some girl, maybe even, this is gonna be wild to say, but I could have even had a little hookup with a girl because there were some girls at those parties that were pretty much on me. And me being a bitch back then, I didn't really want that. I just kind of wanted to chill and have fun by myself. I was that odd one out. And this still applies to me, but I'm not really the type of guy to hook up because I prefer to have an actual relationship. It just doesn't sit right for me that there would be this one night I meet a girl and then a little bit of hours later we will have some good time, quote unquote, and then the next day we don't even know each other. They're just kind of, it doesn't really sit right with me. I'm not really into those like one night stands or hookups. It's just not me. I want to be with the girl and be with them for a long time, possibly for the rest of life. But at the same time, in those parties, I could have made something a bit bigger than it could have been. It could have been more than just being on each other, hooking up. It could have been way more. And I wasn't trying to invest my time to try to make things work from there because I knew that in type of environment, I know everyone's pretty much friends in there. So if I were to screw something up, I didn't really have any other friends on my side to back me up. So I just kind of avoided those type of contacts. So anyways, remember what I told you that my junior year of high school took place in 2019 and 2020. And guess what happened in 2020? That's right, you guessed it, the coronavirus lockdown. This one event really changed the tide from how extroverted I became during junior year back to being the introvert I was before junior year. Like junior year, I felt like I had a breakthrough when it came to, you know, coming out of my shy shell. Like even my brother was proud of me for actually being more socializing to him and his friends, because his friends started to like how much I talked compared to back then. They didn't even want to speak to me because they knew that they would just get one-worded dry answers from me. Like one of my brother's friends back then, he told me that, damn, you're 16 right now and you just broke out of your shell? Damn. And I was like, yeah, it was a process. And he told me that, oh, when I was 13 years old, man, I broke out of my shell instantly because in high school, all I wanted to do was fuck bitches, and that's what I did. And I was just there like, oh, that's just great. But yeah, 2020. And like I said, I went back to being shy. And that's pretty much it. Even now, I still consider myself very shy. I only am loud with my 3 friends from high school, now 2. One of them broke off because he was being a little bitch. And me and my brother's friends. That's the only groups of people I'm really extroverted with. And those are the only times I am really extroverted. And when I'm in public and I'm pretty much by myself, I don't really speak at all. Like, I am very minimal to what I do. I mean business pretty much most of the time. 98% I'm just business, and 2% I'm in it for the talking and small talk. If someone in public wants to approach me and small talk me, I can give a few dry answers, then I'm gonna be on my merry way, on my main objective. After high school, we're just gonna go straight into it. After high school, going into college, and especially I feel like it's just the community college type thing, but it just looks like people don't want to talk to you, especially girls. Everybody, including guys, girls, guys, literally everyone, they just want to do their classes and get out. No one really hangs around at all, except for those people that I guess they go to the cafe to eat, get a quick bite, but they're only there to get a quick bite and eat, and they're just there by themselves. It is very strange. Like, I can tell you quickly on some attempts that I've made to try to get some sort of relationship going on with some girl. I remember in my first ever semester of college, I was in pre-calc class, and there was this Latina girl. Her name, I'm probably going to disclose it. I'm not going to say it. But she was really cute. She was very small. She had red highlights, really good looking hair. I liked her. And in class, I noticed her bag. It was all K-pop keychains. And I was obviously, I like K-pop. So I sparked up a little conversation with her, like, oh my, do you like Twice? And she was like, oh my God, I love Twice. How do you know? And I'm like, I just guessed, I kind of looked at your bag a little bit and seemed to have a lot of Twice stickers, a lot of G-Idol stickers on there. And she was like, oh, I see. I guess you listen to K-pop too. I was like, yeah, I guess you can say I listen to K-pop a little bit. And since this was like 2021, there was like a Twice show in New York. And so I mentioned that to her. I was like, oh, are you going to go to the Twice Lights concert in New York? And she was like, I'm going to try to get some tickets. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Let me know if you get one. And then so we had a little bit of chit chat. And that night, the concert tickets were being sold. We were both texting each other in real time. We were like, oh my God, this queue time is so long. It's so long. I can't believe it's this long. And I'd be there like, yeah, this is absolutely crazy. I've never had this thing before. And then so we didn't manage to get any Twice tickets. So we kind of were just on Instagram, just kind of depressed because we didn't get it. We really wanted to go. But funnily enough, she added me on her private spam account. She told me she doesn't really add other people on here. So like that made me feel a little bit special. And I kind of, I thought there would be something, but unfortunately not. Because I remember after class one night, I asked her, hey, do you want to go to the mall with me before it closes? And she was like, man, I got some stuff to do at home. I wish I could, but not tonight. I'm sorry. Maybe another time. Of course, I was a little bummed out from that, but I did ask her one more time after another class a few weeks later. But that time she said, nah, I can't do it. I'm sorry. And it got to the point where the semester ended and I pretty much didn't speak to her ever since. And the last photo I saw from her was her and another guy. So that went well. I'm not going to get into the second relationship I got into in the second semester, but I'm just going to say that at that time, I was 18 years old, going into 19 that time, 2022. There was this one woman in my pre-calc class that, she was cute and she was Asian. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to full send this. I'm not going to do what I did back in high school. So after class, I asked this girl like, hey, like, how do you think about this class? Like, it's cool? And she was like, yeah, I kind of like it so far. And I was like, hey, what's your name? Oh, my name is Rachel. How about you? My name is Jay. Nice to meet you. Okay, but I'm not going to get into this. Okay, I'm just going to say, spoiler alert. She lied about her age. She told me she was 25. She sure did look 25. But after a few months of talking, and by the end of the semester, she said, I'm 36. Do you believe me? And I was like, no. And then over text, she sent me a photo of her ID and it was like 1986. I was like, oh my God. and I didn't speak to her ever since. And then the rest of 2022 was just me going out with my brother to clubs and other shit, and that's where I started my, I guess, hookup phase. Remember how I told you that I wasn't really into that hookups thing? But I was doing it, and I won't say I'm not really proud of it because, you know, I like to be a man of my word, and I wasn't a man of my word, and I am kind of disappointed in myself for that. So I usually just forget about this 2022, but I even made an album straight out of the 973 that was pretty much based off of that time period, and it's kind of cringe looking back at it. So I'm gonna fast forward to spring of 2023, but we're gonna go a little bit before that. We're gonna go to March 2nd, 2023. This is when I went to my first ever K-pop concert. This is a Dreamcatcher concert, and it was in National Harbor, Washington, DC. So I was there, I was enjoying the concert. I was up in the very far seat. However, I still enjoyed the concert because the music was good, and of course the Dreamcatcher, they always slay. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't really have any expectations for people talking to me, especially when I was sitting at my seat in the crowd. There were a few times when people did say like, damn, you have so much energy. I like how loud you scream for the members. And I'm like, yeah, you gotta. The concert ended, sadly, so I went to the merch section and I wanted to get myself a hoodie and something else. So I went in line. So there was this really pretty Asian lady. She looked pretty young. I think she was like, what, 24 something years old? I guess she was 24. And so I wanted to make some moves. I didn't want to be shy. I was like, hey, what's up? Did you enjoy the concert? And she was like, I loved this concert. I'm gonna get something from here. And I said, what do you think of getting? And she was like, oh, I'm gonna get that. You see that Yuhyun jersey over there? I think I'm gonna get that. Hopefully no one steals it. I'm like, that's nice. And she was like, oh, what are you getting? I'm gonna get that hoodie, you know? It looks pretty cool. And she was like, yes, that's well. I don't have enough money for that, but I'll get myself the jersey. So then after that, I was called up to the cashier station, and I bought myself the hoodie, and I also bought the lanyard, Dreamcatcher Reason Makes 2023. It's a nice keychain. I still have it, actually. It's been freaking 2 years, but yeah, I still use that. It means a lot to me, especially how Dreamcatcher just disbanded. So I'm like, I'm keeping this, and I'm gonna keep it safe. So then when I was finished getting my merch, I was just waiting at the side. I was texting my parents because my parents dropped me off at the MGM because I wasn't allowed to drive to Maryland by myself because I was kind of inexperienced. So they just dropped me off at MGM, and they just chilled at National Harbor for the past 2 hours, I guess. So I texted them, hey, the concert ended. Can you come pick me up now? And my parents were like, yeah, sure, just be there. We'll be there in 15 minutes, I think. And I was like, okay. And out of nowhere, keep in mind, dude, my heart jumped when this happened. The girl I talked to in the line, she approached me and she was like, hey, are you doing anything after? And I was like, whoa. In my head, I was like, dude, there's no way this is happening right now. Is this happening? So then I said like, no, I'm kind of just waiting for my parents to come and pick me up. And she was like, oh, okay. How old are you, by the way? And I was like, oh, I'm 19. And she was like, bummer. I was gonna ask you if you wanted to go get a drink with me, but I don't think people under 21 would allow me to bring you with me. And I was like, oh shit. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe in a little bit. But no, she didn't really give up there. She told me like, hey, like, you feeling a little hungry? And I was like, yeah, I mean, you want something to eat? She's like, sure, like, you can follow me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I followed her all around the MGM, and she took me to the Shake Shack that was there, and we just ate a burger and some fries there at Shake Shack. It was there that we exchanged some information. We exchanged Instagrams, and we even exchanged Twitch because she streamed on Twitch as well. And I realized she was playing Apex Legends, so I was like, oh my god, you play Apex too? And she was like, oh, I love playing Apex. You know what? I think we could be a duo. And I was like, oh man, I'm so down for that. Let's do it. So I added her on Discord as well. You know, we both had to leave. We were going home, so we had to say goodbye there. And you know, it kind of felt, at that moment, I kind of felt a certain way, because pretty much now and even after I graduated high school, I always felt like I wasn't able to approach any girls, get their numbers, or have any relationships after high school, because I felt like if you wanted to have a girlfriend, especially in this generation, you've had to link up sometime during high school. If not, then it's just not going to be possible. Because like, I will tell you, there were a lot of couples during my stay in high school. There were a lot of couples, and I just kind of felt very envious. And I still think to this day, like, damn, if I had not rejected any one of those girls in high school, I could have had a girlfriend past high school. Because right now, after high school, having to meet girls is, I feel like it's hard, dude. Like, I feel like it's just obligation based. Like, what I mean by that, let's just say I don't like dry approaching. I would need a certain circumstance to be able to know the girl in person. For example, like in high school, those girls who liked me were in my class, and the girls I liked, they were in my school. And of course, the school is a very enclosed place where friends are made. And I guess to a degree in college classes too, where those girls are my classmates. And it gets even better if they're my classmates and they are in a group project with me. It's just a lot more closer. If you guys get what I'm saying about the obligations situations, then you probably understand why I kind of don't like the dry approach type of way of getting girls' numbers and hopefully getting a relationship out of that. I can't really say this because it hasn't really worked for me, but I guess dry approaching can lead up to a relationship, but that's just not the way I want to start a relationship, you know? Like, I would love to meet on a common ground. I don't want to have to meet where you're literally just walking to the freaking metro station. I'm just interrupting your time and I'm like, hey, like, you know the way nah, I'm not like that. Sorry. Also, when it comes to going to bars and clubs especially, I feel like that is also not a good place where you can meet genuine people. Not just girls, it's like everyone. And I know my brother's friends have been trying to, connect me with some girls in these clubs. I'm not really having it with the people in the clubs. I feel like that's just not an effective place to meet people and get something serious out of it. But that's just probably me though. That's just the way I see it. But yeah, anyways, I'm trying to end this video off. It's already been very long. I originally wanted to make this video like 10 minutes, but there's a lot more stories to be told, I guess. But here we are. Of course, I would love to have a girlfriend. These current circumstances right now just kind of make it a little hard. I don't know if this is like a generational thing or it's a geographical thing. I don't know. I feel like it's also like a geographical thing because I had a friend who was living here in DC who was also trying to find a girlfriend here, but he had unfortunately no luck. So he just kind of waited a little bit. He moved to New Jersey and he's told me that in the span of 5 months, he's been with like 6 different girls. And I was like, wow, are you serious? He's like, yeah, man, I didn't expect this many girls to come up to me. Apparently he moved there for college. So yeah, I kind of understand how he's getting all these girls, maybe, but who am I to tell? So anyways, guys, I'm gonna try to end it here. If I missed anything, then I'll probably add it on in a different video, maybe a little part 2, because this video is already real long. So yeah, it's kind of hard out here, but I guess being single at the moment is an advantage, so I can focus on myself, work on, improve, concentrate on my studies in school, so I can, get more dough, so I could get a new car, and hopefully when I get a new car, I get new girls. So yeah, I will see you guys later. That's crazy.